whoever came up with that nerf was probably like reading Reddit and just like, ah, we'll throw this in, you know,
Seems like
we'll appease the mass fan base.
Seems like there's been a lot of that recently, reading Reddit and kind of nerfing some things.
It's not as bad in this game as it is in some other games I play. Namely Path of Exile, but...
So, how do you like this Venomancer pick with the Keeper of the Light and the Bristle up against these two heroes this far? That's stacking slows.
Depending how they use it, I think it's a really nice hero, because it kind of does the same thing Bristle does, timing-wise. You get a rough estimate of how the game's going, and then you want to seize your advantage. And Veno's really good at zoning heroes out of defending towers. He's very annoying to play against in general. Like, this team has a lot of sustained damage. They also have a decent amount of burst if Coddle can land his Q to finish a few heroes off, or if the stacks go high enough from Bristle. They have also like hybrid damage now. Veno does a bit of both. Bristle's pure physical. Coddle does some magic, depending how you build him as well. If you go mana leak, then it's less so, but still. I'm liking the idea here. And it gives some really annoying lanes as well. I think one of the best things you have with Coddle is if you have heroes like Bristle, Timber, or something, they just sit in a lane and push it out and draw focus from the other team. And you have Coddle sitting behind that hero. And then you bring someone else in that's pushing out another lane and you turn the gang. It's kind of like IO. It's a really good use of those heroes.
I'm not too sure how much I really like the Shadow Shaman in this situation either.
It's a hero that gives some tower push. It's not as squishy as some people make it out, and it does damage. I mean, I don't think there's too many 5-position supports that are going to have fun this game.
Yeah.
Insania's draft looks really annoying to play against.
Yeah, it's lining up quite nice. You've got Slardar, Venomancer, Coddle, and Bristleback. Slardar going to be giving you that, corrosive haze, and if Bristle goes with the Solar Crest, it's a lot of minus armor for him to deal with. You got Tide here, which sets up pretty okay with that, that Requiem. So that puts Clockwork in a 4 position with Tide going off lane, right?
Most likely, yeah.
No.
Unless it's some aggro tri-lane that they want to do.
Radiant team ban.
But I always feel pretty good if I'm the team that has forced the other guys to pick Tidehunter to have an overwhelming team fight presence. Because right now, like, I don't think Tide's a great hero. Some teams have been picking it a few times, and the games where it works, it looks fantastic. But I don't think it's a particularly easy game to play Tide. You gotta deal with the Veno wards. So if you get to a point where you can waddle in with like Arcane Mech and get a 3-4 hero Ravage, that's already winning you the game. But if you get to a stage where you've got to rely on blinks, Veno's really good. The True Sight or Clear Vision from Coddle is going to make it a lot harder for you to blink. I think they need a lot from their last hero. Because right now, Shadow Fiend's the only one that really does damage once you get past 15-20 minutes.
Reserve time.
Thinking
Razor would have been the best hero by far, so it was a really good ban.
Yeah, because I was thinking about Razor with the Tidehunter. You get that Ravage, or you get those Shackles coming out, and you just sap that damage.
Maybe it was better they picked Razor instead of picking Tide, because there's still like Enigma in the pool if they ban the Tide, if they want the overwhelming team fight. Yes, Enigma's easier to disrupt, but he does more outside of the ult. I like it. I can get behind this.
That's good against Bristle, so good against all these heroes. I like Necrophos quite a bit, and I can see him do quite a bit of work in this lineup.
The only problem with it is it shifts a lot of focus to the Shadow Fiend. Which I suppose isn't too bad, because he's gonna have the cogs to help him win his lane and stuff. So he's probably going to be off to a pretty good start this game, unless the Slardar has some GG roams. And Necro's also really good at dealing with Bristle in lane, so if they wanted to do the aggro dual lane, With the Bristle, it's a bit easier to deal with. It looks like it's a possibility they send Veno down instead. I don't know, they basically are going to have 2 dual lanes wherever they want to put them. It's up to them.
Very annoying lineup, it seems like, coming out from the all-fam Lotus stack. So Invoker, Swordar, Venomancer, Keeper of the Light, and Bristleback to round it all up for them. And then a little bit of connection failure, it said there, but we've got Shadow Fiend, Tidehunter, Necrophos, Clockwork, and Shadow Shaman for the side of Planet Dog. So game 1 of this best of 3. Winner goes on to the regionals for EU, the regional qualifiers.
Qualifier for the qualifier.
Damn right.
Let's go. That sounds like the most retarded thing ever, but it actually makes a lot of sense. So, you know, can't hate too much.
It's like, you know, amateur tournaments to get into the PGA. Get a chance of going to the Masters, get a chance of going to a couple of those tournaments. You got to win a couple of amateur tournaments. And this is kind of like, you know, winning that amateur tournament to get a chance to qualify for the big time.
Yeah, it's just weird when you say qualify for the qualifier, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So right away we do see the denies coming out for
they
these
missed
cogs.
1, GG. He should have 6 souls.
Yeah, you usually get 3 per, right?
To be fair, it's a bit harder with Necro because his attack animation is slow as hell.
Yeah, and he's
Whereas
down
the
to
other game
7.
they had the Razor, so it's a lot quicker.
Got 3 there. So going to be a 10 souls, looking pretty good. You got Milan on the Clockwork, Kaiser on that Shadow Fiend Swift Ending, playing the Necrophos. Over up towards this Tide is going to be 33, and then finally Shadow Shaman, played by J4. Take a look at the other team as we see Come With Me on the Swordar. Invoker going to be played by Mickey, Venomancer, Nikwa, Bristleback is Loda, and finally Insania on the Coddle with that nice Immortal mount. So you take a look, Venomous Gale comes out on J4. They might be able to get themselves first blood. The Shackles right before the Slithering Crush. So maybe just extending the inevitable as Milan's come on over. There's the Cogs pushing him away. J4 does end up surviving. See if they can turn this over on Nikwa and Come With Me. It looks as though they might be able to just run away with it.
This is really good for them, though, if they're kind of forcing them out the lane from level 1.
Ooh, nice Venomous Gale comes across, too. They do stop those Cogs. Cogs push them away, and now they're, you know, Nikwa and Come With Me both need to use a lot of their regen. Clarity already being used on the Swordar. You've got no mana on the Venomancer with no clarity on him. It's definitely a problem for the Venomancer as well as the Swordar, and they're definitely going to continue to, you know, exacerbate the issue if you're the side of Planet Dog.
Is this lane's meant to, like, put a bit more pressure, at least at the earlier stages, than the Bristle and Bristle and Coddle will? But, you know, the problem is,
go for it.
You know, 2 Gales are out of mana.
Yeah.
They should still be fine, though, because there were no blocks on either lanes, and that generally favors the off lane now, because of where the lane starts. One thing I do like about this, though, is that they're going to let this Coddle get a lot of pulling done this game. You push the wave in with Bristle, or with the Illuminate yourself, and then you just start pulling. And then you get some stacks going, and you can farm really easily. And sometimes it's not just about the gold you get, it's also about the levels. Because mana is pretty important in this game.
Still Shackles available in Nikwa. I don't know if he wants to stay up that far. And Milan, he's got Cogs ready when the stun is gone, and that's exactly what they're going to use, and that should be first blood. It is going the way of Milan. So Planet Dog really working with the aggression of both Clockwork and Shadow Shaman, and proving that he is very powerful up against this lane, despite having the advantage with the lack of mana. There's the Sunstrike. Kaiser getting very low, and Mickey will have one back, and that's very good for an Invoker mid lane that takes away a bunch of those souls. Makes this lane a little bit easier for him. Ooh boy, come with me. Swordar, my battery assault was a little preemptive. But Milan gonna take that regen. Come with me, gonna get that bounty rune. Still just slithering around this jungle of the side. Pro Dota / Planet Dog.
I feel like when you kill the Venom bottom and you don't see the slider, that's kind of the cue that something's going to happen to your mid laner. And considering the Shadow Fiend started with, I think it was 13 souls at the end, you know, he's got about 8 denies or so, but Invoker's out CS, or before the death he was like close, which I'm not sure how that happens, but credit to Mickey. I knew the guy in Horn as a player, and you know, he seems to have transitioned very nicely.
Gold for me.
He's a big player kind of person. Because I feel like Invoker, sure he has alacrity, but Shadow Fiend already starts with like 80 damage, and Invoker starts with like, what, 50 something with Exalt Orbs?
They're going to try and push him back again. I don't know if Come With Me is going to get away with that. Get that Slither and Crush in on Kaiser. And we'll see in a second with 18 souls, but yeah, he starts out with around 90 damage.
And now it's actually a really scary lane for the SF whenever Slider's off the map, because now Cold Snap's in play as well. Shadow Fiends tend to like push the wave out a bit. At the earlier levels anyway, when they go for the raises to get the CS. Once he gets level 5, he's just going to triple raise and go to the jungle and AFK farm, and think he's a good Dota player when that happens, as Sing Sing would say.
So despite dying, Kaiser doing okay. He's got himself at 22 and 23 above this Invoker, but like you
they're
said,
actually dead even on CS. Like the 13 denies are from the cogs, so
yeah.
And considering the lanes, like it's all pretty even.
Actually, they're going to try and come over. They've got the battery assault, the tornado on too. That should slow him down. Milan going to continue to go in. He wants to get these cogs. The Sunstrike's going to be out on Milan. That should bank him a kill, but it is post-death, and will be Milan getting a kill on Mickey. Mickey gets one on Milan, and Come With Me comes all the way over, drops that ward as he's chasing. And Kaiser just getting away with about 200 health. Nothing really to follow it up.
And that's how you turn the lane. Big place from the clock.
Yeah, continue to chase. I thought they might back off. So Milan and Kaiser back at it.
If the Invoker got the kill before he died, it wouldn't have been too bad because of the experience, but it ends up being really nice.
Come With Me is going to try and go in for that nice Slither and Crush, but already backing off his Kaiser. Milan's going to come in with the battery assault just to deter them from chasing. It's really just a bit of babysitting going on in these mid lanes, and it's something we've seen more and more with the most recent patches. As we take a look bottom, as there's the Shackles on Nikwa, a nice Ether Shock is going to bring him quite low. Swift Ending just trying to catch up to Nikwa, not level 6 just yet, won't be able to get that kill. The slow is just way too much for him to handle.
And it feels like this will be one of the more stagnant games that we cast so far. Because both teams now are pretty much just waiting for certain things to happen. I imagine when Tide gets his ult, there might be some kind of rotation come out, but previous to that, it's mostly just if you can get these flanks and maneuvers to work for you.
And he might be in a little bit of trouble. Come With Me is here. He's not level 6, so no Corrosive Haze or anything. Only level 3. Does get the Slither and Crush under the tier 1. Loda just kind of farming away. And now they might want to turn this around with Milan. No hook shot either. Still, he's just level 3, and there's no real turnaround available for him.
And now he just frees up the other lanes, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything with that information.
Well, rotations come out, and like you said, now Kaiser's come all the way over towards the jungle, level 6, just about level 7, looking for those treads. Has double damage to clean up these stacks pretty well.
I wish they'd fix this ancient camp. Like, you can't stack it as a melee hero because it stomps to try to use whatever spell it is that roots you, and then you can't stack. It feels super bad. But you want stacks for your Bristle this game. Like, normally you love that camp because you're like a Lina or a Shadow Fiend or something, you nuke it down. But in this situation, it doesn't feel so good.
Soldier's fortune.
And now Veno's just doing Veno things, clearing all 3 camps at once.
Looked as though Come With Me was going to make his way over, but he's under ward vision, so they know he's around. They probably know he placed that ward. They don't have a sentry available to take it out, but now Shadow Shaman will be spotted, and he's coming over with Moan. If they can get a shackle on Cogs, they might be able to kill him off with a battery assault, but he's just going to slither his way out, make some space, and move over these 2 supports.
He's been going that way a lot, so he might have even known they had a ward there. And, you know, just drawing space. Because right now his cores are very content with farming. Boka, just, you know, Midas, get levels, you know, pretty standard game plan. The Bristle's got his Vanguard up, so he's gonna be pretty comfortable skipping towers and stuff, but not quite teamfight ready yet.
Come With Me has basically just been picking up these bounty runes around the Radiant side. The whole time, he just slithers around, picks up the bounty runes, and kind of continues on his way. Hasn't really been doing much of anything.
It's a hard game for him to do too much, because the duel off lane didn't really have any purpose for him once the start happened. And every time he's rotated mid, other than the first, he's been met with clock, so he's just finding his way. And him getting Blink's going to be super integral this game, because no one else in his team has a form of initiation. Unless you count Bristle walking into a tower and waiting for the other team to show as initiation. Which I suppose you can, but you get my point. You know, he's the one that's going to enable them to take the fights early. On their own terms. Whereas Planet Dog, they just need to get the clock to level 6. Which is a lot easier than farming 2,000 gold. Especially when you have 3 cores that want the entire map. On both sides, actually. So supports aren't going to get much this game.
So Kaiser is going for that Shadow Blade. We'll see how and when makes that into a Silver Edge for that Bristleback, or even if he does make it a Silver Edge, which I feel like is going to have to happen up against this Bristle. Can't really skip an item like that.
It might not be an immediate transition, but it's definitely on the cards. Whether you go like Dragonlance or BKB in between, depending how you want to fight.
So before the first fight between these 2 teams, do you think, if it's going to be Planet Dog who want to be the aggressors, are they waiting on Hookshot to line that up with possibly a Ravage and then Reaper Scythe to come in afterwards?
Pretty much. One thing that both teams have this game, but I suppose Planet Dog slightly more so through the Shaman wards, is they want to like take a fight into an objective as much as they can. So once Hook and wards come online, I imagine they just want to go every time those are up. Get a pick, get a tier 1.
Go for me.
Both these teams.
But right now it's hard to go on 2 lanes. Like, you don't want to go to the Bristles lane. He's one tanky mofo. Want to stay away from that hero for at least another like 5-10 minutes, I think.
That's for me.
They're pretty complacent, and actually Tome Knowledge does come out for the Clockwork, so they are trying to push that level 6 as quickly as they can.
Maybe getting cut off.
Look up top, J4, Sunstrike, that should finish him off though.
Oh, that's really bad.
That's a bad Ravage, because it's not really going to do anything for him. Why even Ravage there? J4 just the support.
Probably just forgot about Sunstrike, to be honest.
But even then, like, are you trying to save your Shadow Shaman? Is it worth using that? Now Clockwork's going to be dead. Moan, the Cold Snap, the Chaos Meteor, or the Chaotic Meteor. Nope, Chaos Meteor. Somebody correct me. I'm already 1K MMR in chat. It doesn't matter. But also, Kato doing work.
Obviously, it's not a good Ravage, but it's not something that's like worth harping on. It's by the time Clock gets his level 6, and then it's going to be up in around like 30 seconds anyway, so it's not too big of a deal.
You've got a minute and a half, but it does, you know, push them back. Clock's really close. He is level 6 now. Like, they could have fought right now. They would have had the Shadow Shaman. They can be the aggressors, maybe look for a big-time fight. And they're down, you know, 4,000 net worth. Not the spot they want to be in.
I'm not sure Ravage is the tool that enables them to fight, though, because Bristle's going to be...
Oh, man, Milan now missing the hook shot.
Just bad, man. But, like, if they actually wanted to take a 5-on-5 fight, like, look at how they're setting up bottom. There's going to be Plague Wards everywhere. Bristol's in the front. It's not the easiest thing to get like a worthwhile Ravage unless you flank them with smoke or the fight gets baited by a hookshot and people just, you know, don't respect your Ravage.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Both tier 1s taken out for both sides in the safe lane, and both these teams, they're pretty complacent, you know. Mickey's looking for his Ag, so is Kato. Loda, he's got himself that nice Vanguard, has 2,400 gold saved up, and as I say that, he gets himself that hood. And maybe with that, they might look to fight, or at least be a little bit more aggressive and not let the side of Planet Dog push this tier 2 and kind of push them in.
Well, I think the tier 1, at least in the safe lane, it's becoming like a very irrelevant tower. And you're quite happy to trade it off because they're playing their own game. I think they feel like they're going to win if they play their own game.
Do you get the hook shot? There's the Ravage, setting it up with the Requiem, but Loda, still a hard kill there. They finally get the Scythe. And Sunstrike from Mickey is going to end up taking out Milan. So it is a 1-for-1, very much benefiting Planet Dog. They take out that Bristle carry, but nice Sunstrike coming in from the Invoker to really just at least get something on the return.
And now we get to see if in the next 2 minutes, when Slider's 100 away from his blink, if they can punish the Ravage cooldown. Because on its own, using those 2 ults, getting the kill on Bristle, really good value. But you don't have that for a while now. Slider is just about to get his blink parried out. Bristle's going to come back up. He's still tanky as all hell. The only thing that's going to kill him is like Requiem into a Reaper Scythe after a few right clicks. And if his team's around, that isn't easy to pull off. So if they want to play really aggressive, now's the time. But I have a feeling they're just going to default to farm because they're getting the better end of the farming game. Like Venno just bought a Midas. You know, it's like just pick them apart with the Slider blink, push in lanes, play with
Hookshot comes in on the Venomancer. They get the cogs with the battery assault. Milan should have himself something with that kill and the Gush coming through. By the way, Courier got killed with the blink dagger of Slardar on it.
Can you see where it died?
I can't. Can you?
I think they removed it, but still. That's a pretty big deal, actually. And then they get the Venno kill, so by the time Venno is up, Ravage is available, Shadow Fiend has his Shadow Blade ready to go on top of the wards, Hook will be up by the time Ravage is up, and then they're pretty good to go. If they want to wait like a few hundred gold for Necro to finish his mech, they could. Kind of surprised he's going for it. I think this speaks to their game plan. That they want to be like able to sustain through all of the Venno aids and Bristleback quells, and then win the fight after that.
So, I was thinking, I was gonna say before, you know, despite using the Ravage, the Requiem, it seemed to take a lot just to kill Loda. You're throwing all that on just a Bristleback. Does that open up the fight for the rest of this all-fam stack? And meanwhile, the hookshot comes out onto Loda. Cogs trying to make some space. Loda maybe looking to throw some quills in there and deter Side of Planet Dog from taking this tier 2. They're going to continue to go in with that viscousy nasal goo. And with those quills, he should be able to push back the Side of Planet Dog. They actually want to continue to go in. Necro has got 4 stacks on him, and now they look towards Loda. They drop these Serpent Wards. Loda's still nearby, just taking a bunch of hits from them, but that's still just popping quills off into the spines of this Planet Dog squad. Cogs to make sure he can't really back off too much. Requiem set up with the shackles. Here comes the Ravage. Tornado on 3. Reaper Scythe will do it. They finally get that kill on Loda. And the rest of the team kind of answering the question I was about to ask you before all was said and done. Really backing off from trying to go in on Planet Dog.
But the Venom is split pushing, so they basically trade 1 for 1. And if they don't manage to get the tower here, I don't think the Dire Stack are going to be too unhappy, but they get the tower trade. And now they get
again on the Kato, and they might be able to get themselves a kill on this Sardar. That'll probably transition to a kill on the Kato. It will. Swift Ending gets himself 2 kills. Kato buys back. You look over bottom as Neek was going for this tier 3, and here comes the TP from Swift Ending.
Okay, so to go back to your question first and foremost, I think if they kill Bristle at this stage of the game, that's all they care about. Invoker, like, he's a one-trick pony at this stage. He doesn't have the tools he needs to, like, carry the fights just yet. Give him 10, 15 minutes and that changes, I think. But at the moment, you know, they're more than happy to, like, blow all their ults to kill a Bristle. Especially when Neek was playing like this, like, he's just split pushing and AFK farming. And I feel like it's really hurting them. If that's a call and, you know, they're happy with that trade, then fair enough, I suppose. Another thing I also want to point out is this Coddle build is, like, triggering the hell out of me. A level 1 mana leak is complete garbage. If you take Spirit Form, you can split push better. If you had that point, you could bring the Venno that was going to kill the tier 2 with the wards anyway to that top fight. You can also use it to push the Clockwork out of the cog so he's not solo killing you. You know, like, there's a lot of reasons that the ult is really good here. If you change that point, I think the last fight goes completely differently. Because they pretty much ravaged one person.
Yeah, they
both got a 3-man combo. If the Venno gets to, like, get recalled into the middle of the fight, you know, he just presses R, presses Gale on, like, 2-3 heroes that got tornadoed, and the fight probably gets won.
At least. But instead he pushes. He did a good job getting quite a bit of damage on this tier 3, though. So not a terrible trade, but I see your point, definitely, where if Venomancer comes up there, maybe that fight turns around, and instead of getting, you know, some damage in that tier 3, they take the fight and go for it.
Ward. That feels bad. Yeah, I don't think the Venom made a bad decision. I just think, like, he probably thought the Coddle could recall him, because he's now got the point instead of the other 2 spells, which I think is correct. And now they want to penalize Ravage cooldown with Rogue.
Crush comes out on Milan. He's going to be mana leaked, and the Sunstrike Milan has no chance of surviving this, but they'll take out Loda again. They've got that Silver Edge on Shadow Fiend, proving to be quite the disaster for this all-fam squad. So now the ones who are in Roche are Planet Dog, and let's see, can the side of all-fam return the favor and take them out of Roche?
I think the wards will be just enough to zone them, honestly. And, like, Ravage is also up in 10 seconds. They've got a pipe, they've got a mech. They're really tanky right now. So unless Invoker gets some God combo, I think they're good.
I think you see possibly the Tide run at them, and
And now he's just gonna hook as well. Like Clark can get like 3-4 heroes here if Venno doesn't zone him.
And there's the hook shot, goes on the Venno. He's going to be four-stepped out into the Ravage. 2 men down, and now they're going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. There's the Requiem. They get 2. Swift Ending's going to Reaper Scythe Nikwa, and now Mickey's going to be able to just get out. Not actually. Swift Ending does get the kill. He's trying to get away, and Loda trying to steal Roche. They don't get it. Milan picks up the Aegis, and they don't even get the kill. Loda back in that fight for just a moment, trying to steal that Roche. Not successful, so a huge turnaround, and Planet Dog, they're seemingly taking control of this game overall.
How to throw Dota 101.
Middle tower has fallen.
Sounds a bit harsh, but like...
Is there a step 3
it's
profit?
kind of true. Say again, sorry?
Is there a step 3 profit? Is it throw, question marks, profit? Or is it just how to throw Dota, don't qualify for regions?
Dire's middle tower
They're doing the video basis for the book that's about to come out on how to throw Dota 2.
So Blink, Slither, and Crush comes out on 2. Now he's going to be hexed up by the Shadow Shaman J4. Blinding Light's going to push them back. Should save the life of this Slardar. And now Mana Leech is Milan. He might end up dying, but that hook shot get him far enough away, and no Sunstrike coming his way.
They're pretty good disengage, and they get a lot of damage on their tier 2.
You know what would save? Actually, wow, I said that Southern Crush comes out as well as the Sunstrike on Swift Ending. And Corrosive Haze is on this Necro, but I'm not too sure he's going to be able to get away despite his team being around him. Loda's going to end up getting the kill. Milan on the back end has those cogs to really separate him, and now we take a look at Shadow Shaman, who's going to be the next one to drop.
See, like, that's how I expect the fights to go most of the time. Obviously Planet Dog didn't have their ults up, so when they got caught out it was pretty much, you know, leave whoever, because adding any more to fight is just suicide for them. But even with the ults, like when... I'm just going to call them Alliance because of Loda a few times, so sorry for that, but when this happens, like, I don't know, 8 minutes ago, they're in such a good spot. Like, this top fight kind of, you know, really threw them for a loop. And also with the Coddle being such underfarmed hero this game, like, they could have gone for the Ags a lot earlier and just like let Slardar buy some wards, or hell, let Venno buy wards. Honestly, he was farming half the map anyway, and then they could have had this Ags and be able to end the game almost.
Now
it's slightly untraditional, but I don't think you pick this hero as a 5 in this kind of draft. I don't know, maybe I'm slightly biased just because I understand that Ags is, you know, I've had such good experiences with it in the past, and Planet Dog don't have a lot of damage. Like, once they've blown all their stuff, Illuminate heal counters like a full Requiem and a Ravage nearly 100%, unless you're right on top of a Requiem. And then what do they have as damage? You know, a few nukes from Shadow Fiend and Necro, and that's about it. But they're by no means out of the game. They have an Invoker, playing pretty well. His farm's decent.
Lotus farm's not too bad, and he's looking to go towards Radiance next, so that should be an interesting move. And meanwhile,
he's just gonna die if he goes for that, I think.
Meanwhile, we take a look at Planet Dog smoked up, going towards this tier 2. Smoke's going to be broken. They're going to try and get this kill out on Come With Me, but spotted by the Blade Ward is J4. Boom, there it goes. With that ward there, you can almost just tell by his movements that there's other people with him, and I think they do ping out Milan as well.
Pretty sure both teams know what's up now. With all the ults available, they feel like they're going to be pretty comfortable pushing this tier 2. Plague Wards aren't as bad as they were like 10 minutes ago. Shadow Fiend hits pretty hard. He can take them down in 1 or 2 hits. And you know, they have their pipe untied, so let's just go. And Invoker's doing the right thing, split pushing. If they want to take a fight, then the Coddle can recall him in 10 or 15, or he can just TP to his base. And they delay as long as they can to like let him get the trades.
So back off from this tier 2. Serpent Ward's used, and Mickey gets a tier 2 of his own up top. He might look to continue to push. But there's the hook shot coming in on Loda. He might be in a little bit of trouble. The 4-step is going to get him out of cogs, and like that. They're still continuing to go for this tier 2 while Mickey goes for a tier 3 top. The TPs are coming in, but I don't know how much that's going to do. And now we turn it around as Loda's going to be fighting Milan. They've got the mana leak out on J4. J4 should be the sacrifice they need to at least get their way out of it. But now Milan, he looks like he's going to drop as well. Necro's going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. Swift Ending, he's going to be hit up by that Tornado. He's got that minus armor of the Corrosive Haze, and the Sunstrike slams him down, and 3 are dead on the side of Planet Dog.
They even had Sentry as well. Like, this ward just made it so easy for the Dire side to play that. Their deep push is, you know, pretty strong between all their heroes, and then Invoker gets perfect knowledge of when heroes are TPing away, so he can space his hero correctly, and then they just run them down at the end. And now you see them just, you know, look pretty comfortable. The Coddle's 100 away from his Ags. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to time it with a Roche. But they still have 2 minutes on daytime if he gets it, like, right now. They might be able to get a tier 2 if they would like to push. If not, they can just keep farming, because I think that's the way they win as well, you know, just let the game go late.
So 5,000 net worth lead for the all-fam Loda stack. They've got that lead right back, denying that Arcane Rune. Take a look at Loda's items.
Big deal.
Yeah, that would be big for Bristleback. They might be able to push off that. And he's actually going to take this stack and going back towards the Radiance. So let's see what he goes, and Blink Slithering Crush going to miss on J4. Just going to hex him up. They're still continuing to chase. They think they might be able to get a kill on this Shadow Shaman, but the rest of the team, Insania and Come With Me, will back off.
Alright, so Loda is committing for the Radiance. And Invoker gets picked by Requiem. So that's kind of the time you don't want him to be split pushing, because the Coddle's got his item. That's like the safe zone. If you're near the Coddle, you're pretty Gucci. And the other team like knew where they were. They showed mid with 1 or 2 heroes. So they knew they could make that play. And it's by no means the rewrite of how to throw Dota 2, but it's probably a kill they didn't need to give away.
Taken all the way back to base. Thank you, Coddle. Thank you, Uber Coddle. And the chase is still a little bit on from Kaiser. I think they saw that with the creeps. And still rolling his 5, trying to make something happen. Are they going to smoke here? Anybody smoke? They do have one on Shadow Shaman, maybe to make a move on possibly Loda or the Invoker again.
I think they're just going to walk towards the tower. Niko's already setting up though.
We've got these Plague Wards.
Yeah, I think this is just dead. They're forfeiting this.
Yeah, this time the Serpent Wards are going to get the tower. Radiance finished on Loda.
It's in his stash still though.
He needs to go pick that up, and
not quite fight ready.
We'll see if that changes anything in the big fights ahead. Take a look, all cooldowns are ready to go except for the Serpent Wards. Let's see if all fam are the ones looking to fight, or if they're going to sit back, be complacent, try and farm it, and defend on the counterattack.
I feel like they're probably just quite happy playing defensive and reactive right now.
Might be able to kill off this Venomancer. Coming in deep is going to be Swift Ending, and there he is. He's looking to get that Reaper Scythe. Not going to be enough, actually, and Nico trying to run away, but not going to survive, as Swift Ending does end up getting that kill with the nice Death Pulse. We take a look at the clockwork. I'm a little slow on the mark, but they do take out the Slardar, and they're going to continue to chase on Insania and Loda. They get the 4-step forward from Milan, trying to get that battery assault to slow him up. And let's see if J4 can get in there for the shackles. They shackle up Loda. Gonna be pushed back by the blinding light and break those shackles.
And they still have Ravage. So... and they might be able to do some... oh, is he gonna find him again?
And they are gonna TP over Ghostwalk just to get out of dodge.
Radiant's middle
Tidehunter
tower
looking for that blink next, almost has it, but as the Solar Crest pipe, ready to go, so... minus armor for the side of Planet Dog and quite a good chunk of it with that Solar Crest.
I really like his item choice this game. It feels really intuitive as well. Like the pipe's the obvious choice, right? But most people like having a blink at some point and would probably have foregone the Solar Crest, which makes killing Bristle so much easier, especially with Silverish in play. And they have a lot of physical damage from like the wards if they can get a trap in the cogs or something, so... pretty sure it also contributed a lot to taking the Roche at one point, so... it's value town. I'm pretty sure it still needs a real nerf. Like, it's taking some chips.
SF. He's gonna be drained of his mana if that EMP had hit. He has the Silver Edge, does get himself away, and Mickey just using that Tornado EMP goes to walk out.
Yeah, he's going for Bloodfawn as well now, so... not the usual follow-up item, but I like it a lot. As far as I know, the Serpent Ward's crit as well, right? It's kind of an insignificant thing, but you know, he's mostly just getting it for the silence. The damage output's pretty insane as well.
So they do take this Aegis. Put onto Kaiser. Cheese is available. Swift Ending will pick that up. This one Reaper Sight to regen will probably be enough for him. And we take a look over top as Invoker does get out of the way.
30 seconds till daytime. Gem picked up on Insania. So they should be able to get all these wards before Planet Dog go for a big push. Because they're doing a pretty good job of just moving the heroes around the map and prolonging the game enough.
We do have a smoke on this all-fam squad heading into the jungle of Planet Dog, and it looks as though they might just look to push bottom as those creeps are pushing in. They might try to get a tier 3 and force the hand of Planet Dog to come back, but they've smoked up, and they're on opposite sides of the map of Planet Dog, so they'll push their way bottom. Hopefully, see if they can get a return from Planet Dog.
I feel like they've got a good read on the situation because of the wards they've got here, so they should know what's happening. And if they can force them back while the other team has Aegis, that's a win on their part. They're probably not going to be able to pick them off if Planet Dog don't do any like stupid TPs.
So Kaiser's the only one coming in just to defend the base with the double damage, but the rest of the team, they're coming in with a smoke. They want to flank these heroes of all fam, see if they can take them out, but 3 have already retreated. Backing off is going to be Mickey. Doesn't have Ghostwalk right now, but
this would be
huge. Get it off. He's got Tornado Chaos Meteor. Now he actually does get that Ghostwalk off and will end up escaping.
And those are the things that I think are gonna like define the game. If he dies there, it's huge. But because he doesn't, they buy a lot of time. They can rinse and repeat doing that a few times, and I think they're in a perfectly good spot because of it. They're just abusing Coddle really well.
Go for me.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
J4, he's going to be going for Ags. We'll take a look at this Tidehunter. He does have Blink, so they have the initiation of Blink Ravage if they want to use it that way. Take a look over at Lotus, still with that Radiance, going for the Octarine Core next. And then over on the Invoker is going to be that Lincoln Sphere. So just trying to farm up as they can, kind of keep this 1k net worth lead above the side of Planet Dog. They're ready to defend with these
the creep.
Plague Wards, and
he missed his hook because the creep body blocked him, feels bad. And now Slada gets to make more space.
Making space like the Rubik of past games, but I think he might be dead.
Nah, he's Gucci.
Might be.
Like, this is real space, you know. He's not dying and he's making space.
Yeah, doesn't even get caught out. They end up forcing, like, 3 of these heroes just chasing him. You've got Mickey pushing bottom. Venomancer just farming away, has that Ags. Let's take a look at Loda once again, as he's still trying to get that Octa leading for, trying to farm up what he can at the moment, while the rest of Planet Dog are pushing top.
And the Aegis has, what, just over a minute left? Minute and a half? So they're probably going to want to try and use it. The problem is, it's so hard to go high ground, and it's also so hard to catch the heroes.
Slardar, they might have found him for the first time, but he force staffs forward, gets out of the cogs. I think he's just going to be able to run away. He's got the urn on him, just stopping that.
Yeah, he's doing the backpack trick as well, so even if they're chasing him, he's got to blink away.
Yeah.
And now he's just going to get recalled, most likely. Or is J4 actually going to be able to solo kill?
They're getting grouped up to push over mid, but bottom, Mickey's ready to take a tier 3. He's going to hit away, uses his Chaos Meteor, the meatball falls down, takes out those creeps, so back off for just a moment. And now it seems like they're kind of in no man's land, looking to get back to this bottom tier 3 and kind of defend their towers. And with that, Mickey just making space getting out. So they stop the mid push by pushing bottom.
Yeah. And Aegis will be out in about 20 seconds. So they'll have one less tool to use if they actually do get involved in a fight. Which, you know, if they can, I still think they're fine if they actually get the fight, especially at night time. But the way the Dire Side are playing, they're just doing everything they humanly can to stop the fight, to prolong the game. And they're getting to the point where, like, the Invoker pretty much has everything he needs except level 25 to contribute to fights, and soon Bristle will have his Octarine, which is going to give him a lot of sustain. I'm not sure it's going to be enough if they can focus everything on him, but that's kind of like the Invoker's job to stop that happening. And to some extent the Capoddle as well, by like pushing people with the light, etc.
So
landing a heal as well.
Kaiser going pretty deep here with that Silver Edge about to run out. Can he get a Requiem or any sort of kill? He gets the Silver Edge break, but not going to be able to kill off Nikwa. Nikwa's got the team ready and waiting. By team, I mean Loda's just kind of on the edge. Meanwhile, down bottom, Mickey, he's going to be pushing once again up top. He's going to be the Slardar making space.
I'm sure Loda's not happy right now. But this is really good for them because they've got 2 waves pushing towards the base. It's nighttime. The Venom just got cut out, so he's like half-life. He's probably going to have to pop a shrine if he wants to stay and put his annoying little wards down. And we also have the luxury of seeing Loda is like completely out of position, no TP as well, so the Collar's going to have to recall him in like 2 seconds, which means he doesn't have it for a different hero. And now they just get to hit the tower while they drop their wards, and it's going to be a tier 3 minimum. I think even with the glyph, they at worst they can use the BKB with the SF and commit, and then force staff him away. But if they want to play really, really safe, then, you know, I think this is their window though. Just take the tier 3.
Serpent Ward's not enough to take it, and they're backing off again. This time Kaiser goes out. He does have Silver Edge ready to proc. If he does spot Mickey, I would assume he uses it. But Mickey already backing off, so he'll just farm up. It's again, Mickey just putting that tiny bit of pressure. They don't get everything they want in the mid lane. Keeping that tier 3 alive is the side of Volfam. And it's just, you know, Planet Dog, for what seems like the 2nd or 3rd time, kind of don't get what they want in terms of objectives.
No, if anything, they're getting the better end of the tower trades as well, because the bottom tower is the same as their mid tower, and also the top tower on the Radiant side's half-life, so a few more of these trades and they'll be dead. And then Rex get opened up.
Link Slithering Crush out onto the Shadow Fiend. They're trying to get the EMP. They do spot him out. He's going to have to pop that BKB. The Sunstrike's going to be there. No, just misses. But Mickey going to continue to go forward. Gets that kill. And they take out Kaiser. He's dead. 90 seconds, no buyback. This is huge as 33 is going to try and look for that Ravage, but he just walks away. They lose Shadow Fiend dead for 75 seconds. And now all of a sudden, Planet Dog, they're in trouble.
Like if they checked his inventory, Force Staff was new, BOTs were new. That's 4k gold. He probably isn't sitting.
Come on, he's in trouble. Blink Slithering Crush, Mickey there, dead you are.
And they waste the Reapers on the Lincolns. It's only 20-second cooldown, but it means they can go back in.
And he's going to be hit with that Tornado EMP. Chaos Meteor coming down. Now he's trying to run away. There's the Sunstrike. Going to strike him out. Just doesn't survive. Both the Shadow Fiend and the Necro are dead with no buyback. So they're going to push as quickly as they can. Try and find out with this buyback. And they'll see they both don't buy back. And they'll probably take a tower and rats.
Yeah. Without these heroes, there's just no damage on the table at all. They have a few forms of control, but it's really not that much at all. This could be 2 sets if they just swing top. But they're probably going to respect the fact that the SF is down.
So SF up in 5 seconds. They do take the bottom racks.
It's daytime now though, so it's about as good of an option as any to just clear up the tier 2 and continue playing the same game, I suppose. Opt into Tit Shrine instead of the tier 2, slightly safer route. There's Arcane Rune as well, which Bristle or Invoker can grab. I suppose Bristle benefits a bit more.
Don't mind if I do.
Now they're going to smoke. This could be their opportunity to finish this game.
I'm not sure why they smoked, to be honest. I feel like it's pretty obvious where the Radiant are, and you want to go to Roach anyway. Even though the Rocket's scouting it out, it doesn't really matter if the Radiant side know.
They could go for the Ravage with the Blink, but that would have to mean they throw everything at it, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. Here comes the smoke. Here they come, looking for Dota. Kaiser setting up. J4's here. He gets the hacks, and now he's in between those Serpent Wards. They get the kill immediately. Hookshot comes in. They're going to get themselves another one with the Venomancer. Loda's dead for 2 minutes. That is big. As Roche, he's getting taken down by Planet Dog. They do go for it, and they make it worth their while. But come with me. Aegis is on the ground. He's going to get the Aegis, and it will be popped. Oh, boy.
I think he's not. Oh,
no. He is dead as Kaiser gets that kill.
That was like, I feel like everyone from Alliance's supports that could save Loda was just AFK in their head. Like, they had the Glimmer Cape to stop the Reaper killing him. They had Force Staffs before the Reaper came out. They were slow as hell, and that's why that fight went so bad. Like, Loda just dropped. He had no impact in the fight at all. They slightly salvage it by the fact the Aegis doesn't get given away to the SF, which would have been ideal scenarios for Planet Dog. What about the cheese? Where did the cheese go? Is it anywhere? Is it still in the pit? No. Someone ate it, I guess. Am I blind?
I think he got devoured in that fight.
Yeah, okay, so there's no cheese or Aegis in play, which I still think it favors the Dire side that happens. Obviously, they'd have rather have had them themselves, but you know, pickers can't be choosers, I suppose.
So they still have a lead for all fam, but things aren't looking too great. Mickey trying to get that kill onto J4. Now they're going to try and chase Mickey out. And we'll get recalled by that Coddle.
Back to the same game plan that it has been for the past 15 minutes or so.
You know, if one of these teams just had an Ogre Magi Koos, just think that.
You reckon he could have clicked Force Staff and Glimmer Cape and saved his carry?
Not only that, he'd get the body blocks, the Fire Blast, the Ignite, the multicast ×4. Koos, the ultimate.
I can get behind that idea. That's why both these teams are struggling right now.
They don't have Koos.
They don't have the Sea God player.
Coming up behind. Oh, wow. Kaiser just getting out. That was very close. And they might still look for him. But now Kaiser knows that Mickey's nearby. Take a look. Can they get him? Kaiser's still trying to move forward. Silver Edge not going to work out for him, and he's going to have to walk off.
For me, a soldier's fortune.
I'm not sure they can push now though. It's just like this wall of wards. They have to pipe a wave to get it to high ground, and then they don't have the pipe to fight. And they have to find a situation where they're getting like the important heroes. At least like no one's split pushing right now. That's the huge upside for the Radiant. Because the Dire are like really
Boy,
scared.
force tap forward. They're gonna get the cold snap looking for the EMP. He'll back off, get double force tapped out.
They wanted to pop his PKB there. It was a really good reaction for him to not use it, and his team just saved him with force. And now we have a Mexican standoff where the plays like that are going to dictate, you know, who comes out ahead. I think if he pops his PKB there, they have to just back off. Instead, they can stay around a bit.
Looks like they're kind of trying to set up the perfect Ravage, kind of have them come out a little bit, but
they need like a hook in first, I think. And it's really hard because of all these plague wards for him to get a good Ravage. At least he has the force now, so he doesn't have to blink.
Rocket Flare just for a little bit of vision. Tornado comes out on Shadow Fiend. Can they make anything of this? Nope.
And now Come With Me says, fuck this shit, I'm gonna go split push, boys. Which I don't think it's too bad, because, like, yes, Invoker's one you want to be split pushing with, but if he isn't here when the jump happens, it's really scary. So I think it's actually a really good call on their part to play it this way, because the other two waves are going to push in. I mean, ideally Slardar goes like this and cuts the wave, so
Ooh, force tap forward. J4's going to be in a little bit of trouble. There's the Ravage force out of their hand. Kaiser's going to try and move on in and make something happen. They're going to kill the Invoker off for 2 minutes. He's got himself buyback. Let's see if he uses it. Niqua in the back end, Milan just pushing him away with the Cogs. Loda, meanwhile, he is just forcing them out of their base with both the Radiance as well as all these close boys getting thrown forward. He's got the Lotus Orb on him that protected him for some time, and they do end up picking off Swift Ending. They're looking for more. They're looking for 33 as they've taken out the clock and they've taken out J4. 3 are dead. Finally, someone moves their hand in the Mexican standoff, and the winner is going to be the All-Fam squad with Loda.
And didn't even buy back, so when Loda's not the one getting Reapered, you see how much damage and stuff he does in fights. A lot of it's like attributed to the Radiance as well. You know, he just has this constant tick of damage.
So now they're going to push top. They've got Loda and Niqua doing work to this tier 3. Kaiser just going to hit away at Bristle, use that Silver Edge to deter him from going up on that high ground, but it's not going to do too much. Going to shrine up, and still they're looking for something. The Blink Southern Crush comes in on Kaiser. He might be in a little bit of trouble. The Poison Ivy is used, and force-stepping himself away into safety.
It's just zoned away. Sick ball.
So again, he might be in a little bit of trouble. Hexed up is going to be this Slardar. He'll end up dropping J4, though. He's running away from the man with the bristles on his back, and will end up dying.
Objectives taken. Time to piece it.
Oh, hook shot. Gonna miss, but I think that would have put that Clockwork in a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah, he's probably happy he didn't hit it, to be honest. Dead force is available, so.
So that whole time Invoker's dead, and top set of racks, tier 3 tower gone. That's 2 sets of racks gone on Planet Dog.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
They have ways to push it out, so the 2 sets of racks are. It just makes it harder for them to do what they've already been trying to do, unfortunately. Because these waves are actually going to shove in. It's what they've been doing anyway with heroes, but now it's just creeps as well. No, they can just pick them apart. Like, they have map control. Invoker's got the tornado cooldown talent, so he can get 1 or 2 combos off of the tornado a fight, which helps a lot.
So let's take a look as Invoker back up Octarine Core and Ags. And Bristleback, he has the Octarine Core with the Radiance just burning away at these heroes with the massive quills coming out, and he's going to be recalled by Insania.
Don't mind if I do.
So, big 16,000 net worth lead for an all-fam Lotus squad. And you can't really say the game's over because from what I was reading, they came back from Mega Creeps in their semi-final match. So this game by no means is over.
Oh, they definitely still have hope, but it is quite slim. Just based on the fact that Shadow Fiend is the only core that really contributes damage at this stage. Like, Necro went for a very survival, utility-based build that kind of just puts everything on the Shadow Fiend. And with the items he's got on, he is about as well geared towards that as he could be, but it's just getting harder and harder for him. Just as the game goes on, a single core is easier and easier to deal with.
Just making space, waiting for this Roche to come up in just a minute. They want to control this pit, don't want a repeat of the last Roche fight. And actually, Hookshot comes in. That's going to be on the Venomancer. He's going to be pushed out by the Cox. Here comes a huge Ravage onto the entire side. Venomancer's going to be dead for 2 minutes, and he's going to have buyback. He's going to immediately use it. Now J4, he's going to hit the deck as well as the Clockwork. So it's a 2-for-1. They do force the buyback, and now trying to get it away. Swift ending as the Poison Nova is going to be dropped by Sneakla. He's still continuing to run. He has that Lotus Orb on him, but he's surrounded by the entire side of this all-fam Lotus squad. And with that Mana Leak, Swift ending in so much trouble, he's going to fall. 90 seconds on the sideline, and Dire Courier goes down with Lotus Orb and BKB in hand. So now they're looking to push. They're looking to get the Tier 3 and the mid-set of racks. Get themselves Mega Creeps. Pressure comes out on to the Tide to see if they can make something happen with another Ravage. I'm pretty sure J4 just blocked the hook shot there. Clockwork, he doesn't get that hook shot off. J4 is going to die. They get another Ravage out. There comes the Reaper Scythe, but it's not doing anything. Loda continuing to do work. He's got that Lotus Orb on him as well as the Radiance just burning away at the side of Planet Dog. Swift Ending getting very low. They're trying to get themselves the Requiem, but it's going to be a Requiem in death. Everybody is dead. GG is called by Planet Dog, and the Lotus squad wins game 1, 52 minutes in.
They made short work of it in the end, right? They just entertained the crowd as the game went on. Made it interesting.
That was definitely the dictionary textbook definition of that that throw, right?
Well, I mean, it's really easy to. Like, when I say these things, it's like I regret saying them after a point because like, I don't